What's up, guys? It's Jordan Sather here for Destroying the Illusion, and this is Justin Deschamps from Stillness in the Storm. And Stillness in the Storm is a blog that he really first helped me get my start. He let me post a lot of my videos on that blog, so I definitely have a respect for him because he helped me get started. And I wanted to show him today to you guys on this channel because he's got a lot of good stuff to say. He says a lot of wonderful stuff on his blog, and I wanted him to answer some questions for you guys. So how's it going, my friend?
Thanks for having me, Jordan. It's good to meet you in the flesh, brother.
In the flesh. We've been talking for years on the internet, but now it's in the flesh. So tell me about Stillness. Tell me your goal with it and how it got started.
Sure. Well, it got started. Julian and I were researching all sorts of things, and there was this thing called the OPPT that came out, and we felt like we could have added our voices to add more clarity to the situation. And we decided to do a podcast, and then that turned into a blog, and then we decided we could share a whole bunch of different things. We could share our ideas and our perspectives about all these different issues, not trying to say that we know the truth, but just trying to get a different point of view out there to make people think so that they can understand the truth better. And then that kind of blossomed into, well, now I'm really trying to focus on providing people the tools so that they can become their own gurus, their own masters, their own experts, so they can take the truth that they're understanding and actually make practical solutions in their lives at like the little level all the way up to like changing the planet. So
that's awesome. Because when you really came out in 2013, that's when I got attracted to your blog. Because I remember the OPPT stuff.
Right,
and that was interesting. And I remember I've seen the whole evolution of your blog, and a lot of those points you said when you said, you're really trying to help people with the self-mastery, with their own tools to become their own gurus. That's crucial because there's so much of a victimized mindset everywhere. People don't want to take the responsibility to have to think for themselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
And in your blog, you've really helped develop that mindset in me, which is what I'm doing on my YouTube channel. I'm really just showing people the way, like, hey, here's this information, here's my opinion on it, but you do your own research too. So
exactly. I mean, you're kind of taking the model running. You spent time like learning about stuff, becoming an expert to a certain extent, and now you're doing the translation work, as I like to call it. You're helping other people understand, which is awesome. We're all doing it together.
Yeah, you sparked that in me. You're still sparking that in people, and I hope this YouTube channel that I'm sparking that in people. So let's be real. We don't want to do this for forever.
Yeah, I love doing it, but as somebody I listen to a lot, Mark Passio, says, I'd rather be doing other things.
Many other things. So we're doing this niche now because it needs to be done. There's a lot of things that need to be said, need to get out there. But anyway, tell me about Contact, because we're at Contact in the desert right now. Joshua tree, beautiful behind us. What are you feeling? What are you feeling about Contact?
Contact's great. This is my first time at Contact.
Mine too.
Meeting a lot of amazing people. A lot of people that I've been following actually over the years. I've had a chance to rub elbows with, which is really, really awesome. It's good to know that like everybody's in their little world is really focusing in, dialing in, getting the information out, presenting it to people, and this is like a nexus for this. I mean, this is a huge event. I've heard anywhere from 2,500 up to 8,000 people here, which is huge. I mean,
it's insane.
It is. So yeah, what do you think about it?
It's amazing. It's my first time in this area. It's my first conference period. So it's been definitely big experience. And I think, even the way I do my videos is going to change. Just being around so many like-minded people, it's so relaxing, you could say.
Yes.
Understanding there's so many people out there with the same vision. I mean, even in this community, we all have our little quarrels. Everybody has their compartmentalized niche. So it's, but even from a grand standpoint, we're all here for the same reason, and it's awesome to see that many thousands of people.
And one thing, I mean, I'm sure you've heard this from a lot of people too, is that they feel really excited because they feel like they're not alone.
Yes.
And a lot of people feel alone in their worlds. I mean, in a sense they are. Like if you're the only person that that's actually caring about these issues, that's researching them, that is transforming your perspective on the world, yeah, it can feel really alone. Yeah. So just coming out to know that you really aren't the only one there doing this work is really encouraging, and that energy is just... I've never been
happier in the past few days. It's been insane. And also what's really cool is that, I've never been to Contact or any conferences in the past, but this year, for instance, we're here and we're part of that so-called younger generation of people that's trying to get the truth out. And we've had a lot of people just stop us in the event. It's been pretty cool, but it's really cool to see them describe, because it's mostly the older generation that's stopping us. It's really cool to see them describe that they're so excited for all these newbies to come into the picture, and then they're saying, yeah, some of that weight is getting lifted off of us. They're excited because this whole new generation is coming up and they're fed up with all the bullshit. So
exactly, yeah,
that's one thing that's really exciting for me to see.
it's amazing, yeah. And even speaking to people, I'm hearing a lot more, you know, collaboration happening. A lot of people are working together now, which is fantastic. You know, we need to, instead of being these islands of truth all trying to carve out our own little niche, you know, we're all talking about the same basic thing, give or take, the truth, so we can work together. And when we do, wow,
yeah,
you know, amazing things can happen.
And
so,
not naming any names, but it's really interesting to see those calling for unity are just all getting energetically aligned together, and those who are all stuck in their ego and getting divisive are just kind of, you know, the vibratory patterns of what's going on here is just kind of fading them out. So
exactly,
it's really interesting to see that.
Yeah, you know, that's the whole bifurcation event. You know, people, a friend of mine, I forget who's told me this, but it's a phrase, bring me the willing. You know, and those who are really willing to do the work, who really want to unite to change the planet, we're gonna have to take some of the issues that we are really passionate about and put them to the side for a little bit, so that we can find common ground and work together. And that's happening like right now.
Yeah.
And this event here, being all these people, is part of that proof of concept. You know.
Exactly. Tell me about your thoughts on disclosure too, because that's really, you know, why we're all here. That's a huge topic many people are interested in.
Right.
I mean, there's the event, there's disclosure, there's just a lot of stuff coming. So I guess what I want to ask you is, what is your, I mean, we hate speculating to the future because we're always wrong, and the people who are wrong and throw dates out there catch a lot of heat for it. But I mean, in a purely hypothetical world, no one's going to get mad at you for putting your timeline out there. What do you see? What do you see in the next 1 year, 2 years?
What I feel intuitively is that there is like a crescendo happening. So we've kind of been on this like slow curve, and now we're starting to see the arc of the curve like trend up, and really kind of hit a fever pitch. And the fact that there's so many people interested in these type of topics. I mean, the Pizzagate topic, even though it's kind of a hot button issue, the fact that so many people are interested in it is amazing, you know. And it's one of these really difficult topics to wrap your head around. So I think that we're getting to the point where the push for disclosure, which is much more than just about UFOs and extraterrestrials, is really hitting a fever pitch. And, you know, we as presenters, all we can do is offer the information, and that's up to somebody else to take it and run with it. And now people are actually, it seems like more and more people are taking it, running with it, digesting it, and then they're becoming presenters and they're doing it on their own. So
we're getting so much information out there, whether it's leaked by people within three-letter agencies themselves or other whistleblowers or just researchers. There's so much information coming out, and so many people getting to a point where they're realizing the shtick and they're searching for that information. So, like you said, it's getting exponential, and that critical mass is getting faster and faster and faster.
Yep, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes too, and I've heard from a colleague of mine that the cabal, they use various methods, specifically for like contacting discarnate entities to get like advice from the other side. And apparently since 2012, or maybe even a little bit before, they've not had the ability to make contact with the other side. And part of the reason why is that they haven't been following these cosmic laws that they needed to follow to keep their plan running. So now we're kind of at this point where it's very chaotic, but within that chaos, people who are willing to be the order makers can go in and start making order. And I feel like, you know, that's what we're doing. That's what Corey, David Wilcock, all these people are trying to do. You know?
It's almost those, because I mean, around the 2012 time frame, there was so many different peoples and their theories having a convergence right then, whether it was Terrence McKenna and his Time Wave Zero, or what was it, Project Looking Glass?
Yes.
The CIA program where they were trying to use human consciousness to look into the future. They would hit a wall. They would be able to view anything up until 2012, and then once they get past 2012, it was just like they couldn't view that.
Right, exactly.
You know, many other things ended around 2012. Many people's philosophies. So.
And, you know, one of the things that I think like the 2012 event did for disclosure is it brought all this out in a positive way, because people were really wanting, you know, the shift and the ascension. But then when that floor dropped out, we were kind of in this chaos period.
Yeah.
But now we're going back into a season of like, you know, order, a season of like people coming together.
Yeah,
exactly.
It just comes in cycles and cycles.
So, yeah.
Also, I mean, you said like the universe is, you said something to the effect that the universe is people who are choosing it, the universe is giving them that opportunity to do so. So it's as if something I said earlier, like the unity in the community thing, you can tell people in who are for unity are coming together. So it's almost as if all the synchronicity and those, you know, wonderful cosmic laws are bringing people together specifically because they chose it.
Yes.
So
exactly. And that choice, I mean, it's easy to say, hey, let's all unite to do something. But when you actually start to working with people, all these differences you didn't know were there come to the surface, and then you have to work through those.
Knowledge is cool, but once you start putting it into action, that's when you test you.
Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, it's really exciting to see. Like when we were walking through, I was hearing, you know, people were obviously interested in the UFO ET side of the story, but they're also interested in what they can do to add their energy to the picture.
Yeah, so many people are wanting to do something now. It's getting to, I mean, the pot's bubbling, so people are, they've known about all this stuff for 20, 30 years, but maybe it's almost the fresh faces are coming in. We're the ones that aren't cynical yet.
Not yet, anyway.
And we're coming in and we have the energy to actually do something, and that's catalyzing all the old people who have been kind of sitting on their ass for a while. They're like, oh man, these young guns are coming in. I don't want to get left behind. So it's almost catalyzing everybody.
Exactly.
So it's cool to see.
Oh, it's a great melting pot. I mean, I was talking to one woman, I'm trying to remember her story, but she had like drove here from across the country, and she just felt this call to come because she knew that she needed to start doing something. And then I was starting to talk to her about, you know, some of the projects I have, and, you know, trying to figure out a way for people to come together, because one of the things that's so amazing about these events is the energy to do stuff is just huge.
Yeah.
But then we all go our separate ways, and go back into our little worlds. But what if there was a way for us to work together so that we could all support each other in that process of growing up into becoming a really awesome, like, world healer and activist, and you know.
And it's so difficult. So many people are kind of living double lives.
Yes.
Where they're, you know, they have their job for the man, but then they have to go home and then take that mask off, and then they get on the internet and start researching all this stuff. So it's, I mean, a lot of people are beginning to realize what their passion is and find ways to either make their passion their paycheck and totally, you know, quit their jobs and do that. But if they can't do that, people are having the courage to come out of that double life and actually, you know, speak to their coworkers and speak to their friends and family about these issues, which is exactly what needs to happen. We need to all have that coming out of the cosmic closet.
That's exactly.
Is that what Wilcox said? Yeah, people coming out of the cosmic closet and like, hey, what's this awakening about, or what's this? You know, that's what needs to happen. And people, you know, we need to have the courage to speak about these things, because that's really all it is. They.
Oh yeah, I mean, one idea I had about like building the unity in the community thing, and I actually got this from Derek Brose, who writes for Free Thought Project.
Yes,
you know him?
He has the resistance movement.
Yes,
he's going around his tour
resistance.
now.
Yeah, he's stuff. Great. I met him at Free Your Mind this year, and he was talking about this concept called freedom cells, and it's really interesting. Basically, what it is that you find 2 or 3 people, ideally some in your local neighborhood, but if not, that's okay. And what you do is you help each other work on either your personal issues or projects that you have. So if like you want to learn about how to do organic farming, we all get together, we support each other in that learning process, then we actually go and do organic farming, and then...
You got to do it.
Exactly.
Do the thing to have the power, as Ralph Waldo Emerson would say. That's the biggest thing.
Exactly. And then once you get that done, then you shift, and then you help with somebody else's project. So with this rotational support system...
That's interesting, because that makes me think of the Law of One, when they say we're all here to teach and learn at the same time. Yes. If you're not doing both of those, you're not, you know, doing the right job. And that brings that in the picture, because you're learning how, then you're teaching. And you really, I mean, you could learn how to do something, but if you don't teach it, you don't master it.
Exactly. So, and there's something that happens psychologically in the process of verbalizing knowledge. So it uses your linguistic and articulative processes in your brain, and you become more, you get like a new perspective on something you already know, and it becomes more refined for you. So yeah, this agorism, this freedom cell model, I mean, that's kind of like what we're doing. We're working with each other. I'm supporting you. You're supporting me. Both of us are coming up together. And then because of that, now we have abundance that we can do to spread around to everybody else. And just think about it. Like, can you imagine a network of like 10 people come to you and say, hey, listen, you're doing something really cool. We're going to find a way to support you, help you get it even better, and then make it so that it actually sustains you, so then you can devote yourself even more to it.
And then when that person grows and grows and grows, and they start coming into their own creative powers, then they're teaching the people who help bring them up. I send this guy articles all the time. I'm like, dude, check this out. He's like, this is awesome, man.
Oh yeah,
he's sending me stuff all the time and tidbits of advice and all kinds of stuff. So it's really, you need to do the whole teach learn process.
Teach learn it's really, and it requires humility. It requires the ability to be like, you know what, I don't know it all.
Yeah, seriously.
And, you know, as much as I have studied all this stuff, there's all these insights I can get, and you know, that's one of the reasons I like your work, is that you help me get a different perspective on the stuff that I've been knowing, and vice versa. And yeah, let's take that model and let's spread it everywhere.
Yeah, you know and your work has always been giving people a whole perspective on each issue, but really the most important thing is that you always play devil's advocate with the situation. If it warrants it. I mean, not every situation needs a devil's advocate, because sometimes the truth is so overwhelming, but if you're trying to discern an issue, you always say like, hey, it could be, you post everybody's work, whether it may or may not, you may or may not agree with it, but it's always in the truth-seeking process.
Right.
So that's what's crucial.
Exactly.
Because nobody wants to humble themselves and look at, you know, I just kind of call it like quantum thinking. You have to like layer your thinking. People don't want to do that. It's all linear, bit stream, black and white, but let me tell you, nothing's black and white.
Nope.
I live in Seattle. It's gray 9 months out of the year.
Right, yeah.
So,
I live in Virginia, and it's green there, so yeah, definitely not black and white.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you, my friend, for everything
man.
you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
likewise.
we're going to let you guys end with a little sunset here. There you go.
Right, nice. Awesome.